live in the year 2026. Social media is at its highest. She has like 100K followers. I mean, she's a pretty girl. I mean, hey, I wouldn't count that out.
What's up, Team YouTube? It's your boy Dom Antoine coming at y'all live again with another one. Today, we'll be looking at a recently engaged couple named Joe McCann and Ashlee Jenae. They took a trip to Zanzibar. One of them made it back. The other one claimed that the fiance committed suicide. We'll see how that plays out, and if you believe it or if it's baloney.
Breaking news, 31-year-old internet celebrity Ashlee Jenae was found dead in a hotel room in Tanzania. The police confirmed that her fiancé John McCann has been detained, and investigators are working hard to determine what exactly happened during this seemingly perfect vacation. The photos during the trip showed smiles, celebrations, and a surprise engagement ceremony that many fans described as a dream moment. Officials stated that the incident is currently regarded as a suspicious event, and investigators are carefully reviewing the timeline of the couple's activities in the last few days. The most perplexing thing is that Ashlee's social media account activity remained normal after she was discovered. At the same time, some fans began to notice another thing.
Yeah, nothing says you killed your significant other, like, or excuse me, deleted your significant other, like, posted on their Instagram after they're discovered. But at the same time, if you do any kind of creation, you probably got 10, 20 videos queued and ready to go at least a month in advance. So it is possible.
Although Ashlee often publicly shared details of their relationship, John rarely replied to her messages. This comparison has attracted attention online. Even more distressing is that it was reported that her family initially learned of the unusual situation through an emergency call. The police have not released all the details yet, but the investigation is ongoing and more results will be announced soon.
So yeah, honestly, what I think happens is that these women, they become a lot more well paid off of their influencing, and the man tends to struggle more, so they're relying off the woman's income, and that builds resentment. But they're both so caught up in portraying that lifestyle that they kind of have to keep up appearances, and in that keeping up of appearances, the resentment continues to build as the woman is footing the bill. And before you know it, she's degrading you and saying shit like, oh, you're not paying anything, I'm paying everything. When I met you, you didn't have no money, you didn't have nothing. I'm not saying this is the case, but I'm just saying it could be. That's why I don't recommend letting any woman take care of a man. But at the same time, if a woman is taking care of you, then you need to be fulfilling your role. I know if that was the case for me, I would be playing my role.
Alicia, well, Ashlee Robinson, she actually was raised locally in South Jersey, and now her death in Zanzibar is making headlines across the world. Well, today we spoke to her family in Delaware, who say they aren't getting answers from her fiance or officials in Tanzania about what happened to her.
Uncertainty, mystery, anger, sadness. It's like a part of me has been taken away.
On April 5th, influencer Ashlee Robinson, who goes by Ashlee Jenae on social media, was celebrating her 31st birthday in Zanzibar, Tanzania. She was on the vacation with her boyfriend of 1 year, who popped the question just 2 days before.
We believe that they were in love. We believe that their relationship was genuine.
Ashlee's mother says she never would have expected that less than a week later, her daughter would be dead. On April 8th, she says Ashlee called saying she and her fiance got into an argument and were moved to separate rooms. The next day, she received another call, this time from her fiance.
He told me that Ashlee did something to herself and that she was being taken to the hospital. I said, what happened when? And he told me it had been 11 hours prior.
Hours later, the luxury hotel the couple was staying at called saying Ashlee passed away. According to the hospital's medical report, Ashlee had an unidentified mark around her neck. They wrote, quote, according to the husband, he found she hanged herself on the door with several question marks.
Sometime Jill went back to the room with security, and that's how they found her.
Ashlee was also taken to a second hospital who listed her cause of death as cerebral hypoxia by strangulation and suffocation.
She's never done anything that would ever lead me to believe that she would do something to harm herself.
She was not just going to be discarded and forgotten about.
And the family, as you just heard, they are just desperate for information. They tell us that they are requesting surveillance footage from the resort. They also say that they have contacted police, the consulate, and embassy and have not heard back. No Action News, we also tried to contact Ashlee's fiance and we also did not get a response. The family says their next steps are going to Zanzibar themselves to try to get answers. We're live in the
You know, it makes you wonder if something like this is pre-planned. That's why I believe, me personally, like if you get into life insurance policy and you have someone's name on it, you probably shouldn't tell that person. Because you could end up, you know, dead in such a fashion. But I think, you know, if a person doesn't have any history of committing suicide or even harming themselves, it's gonna be a tough push to get other people to believe this story.
Satellite Center. Shine Karen, Channel 6. Action News, Rick.
I'm about to tell you exactly what happened. Allegedly, in my opinion, he flew her out to places wherever she wanted to go and wherever he wanted to go. You know, spent a lot of money on her, as you've seen through all of her videos and pictures online. They came there and he proposed, they got engaged, whatever. Clearly, you would think in your mind that he loves her, right? Now, what would make a man want to kill his fiancée? That's if he actually did do it, which we still don't know if he killed her or did not, because there's no reports out on what happened. But if he did do it, there's only one logical explanation. What would drive a man to kill his fiancée or his wife or even his girlfriend that he truly loves and cares about? Probably went through her phone when she wasn't there. Maybe she was there, he went through her phone. Maybe she got a text or a DM, blah, blah, I don't know. Maybe he saw that she was talking to some guys, cheating on him, you know, claiming that she's only with him for the money, blah, blah, whatever. And there's your answer. If you look at any man that has killed his wife, fiance, a person that he actually loves and cares about, it always 9 times out of 10 deals with cheating. I could be wrong. I could not be wrong, but hey, allegedly, in my opinion.
I'm not gonna lie to you, I think he's wrong. 9 out of 10 is pretty high. That's a pretty high claim. You know, I personally think a lot of men, they end up killing their family or deleting themselves and their family because A, they can't take care of them. You know, that pressure could be building, or, you know, maybe the relationship is outside of their control and that things are falling apart. And they'd rather see their significant others either with themselves or no one else. And I guess they sometimes do the kids because I don't know why they do the kids. But sometimes and then also I think a certain amount of degradation of a man could lead them to harm a woman if for some reason they haven't fulfilled their end of the bargain, especially with the way our society is set up in the United States. So it's possible that that pressure is building on them, you know. So if the pressure is building on them and they're not succeeding and they have their significant others on their back, that could be a recipe. And you mix in some type of substance, that could be a recipe for disaster for sure. But hey, I know for one thing, it's not pot. It's not pot. It's mostly alcohol that leads to these type of atrocities.
Live in the year 2026. Social media is at its highest. She has like 100K followers. I mean, she's a pretty girl. I mean, I wouldn't count that out.
Y'all, the more details that come out on this case of Ashlee supposedly committed suicide, I don't know. Now they're saying that her and her fiance were placed in separate hotel rooms after a misunderstanding. Remember, her family shared she was found unconscious in her villa and rushed to a local hospital, where then her death was confirmed. But the Zanzibar police is saying that they do believe she died by suicide, and that basically there had been a misunderstanding between her and fiance during their stay, and as a result, hotel management reportedly made the decision to separate them into two different rooms. Now, in another article, I was seeing that they're saying,
this is the type of shit you doing in my establishment. You gotta get the fuck up out of here. No, I'm not putting you in separate rooms. You and your bags will be outside of the establishment for sure.
she used clothes from her closet. But still, there's a lot of people not buying that she did this to herself. Either three things. Either she did, which I don't believe. He came back to the room somehow, got her to open the door, and then it happened. Or the staff themselves took advantage that he was not in the room with her anymore, and I don't know. Like I said, just that's the only three that I can think of. But this guy straight up looks freaking evil to me. I know the way you look doesn't mean you did something, but I'm sure there's more to come. Ashlee deserves justice. Her family deserves answers. Y'all.
With the get-rich-quick stories we keep seeing. And here's what he said.
People want the easy button, so they search the internet and go, how do I become a crypto trader? That's awesome, but that's not actually going to make you a really good trader. And so the media also loves to highlight these types of things. So if somebody's like, meet the kid who put $800 into WIF and made $2 million, that's a lottery ticket. Until that incentive model changes, you're just going to see more and more people actually produce that type of content, which these media outlets love because it's like a cheap hit of dopamine for people that can.
This guy.
I think we might have found our his recent. If you look at where Bitcoin and Ethereum is right now, or the major cryptocurrencies, I mean it's not too hard to believe that his assets are down bad. So that's some type of outside pressure that could impact the relationship.
Quite literally having agents write code for our software itself, as an example. That orchestration piece is super, super interesting to me as an investor because there's precedence here. If you go to AWS in 2006, when they launched with one service, S3, Simple Storage Solution. Then they added Elastic Compute, EC2. And then they added however many other services they have. One individual service doesn't make AWS all the money. It's the orchestration of all the services or a handful of services that somebody stitches together. That is worth trillions of dollars.
Yeah, he's over selling whatever this is. I mean, at the end of the day, like he's probably right regarding the services, but let's be honest. There is one service that is making them a majority of the money, and then there are other services that are somewhat profitable, but no way that all the services are doing trillions of dollars. Like, this is where you start to look at whoever the operation of the company, you compare that to the country's overall GDP, you'll quickly see that these companies are not making trillions of dollars.
Quite literally having agents.
Secret Service Sam here for LA Magazine with a very important update on Ashlee Jenae, the influencer who allegedly unalived herself in the Tanzania hotel in Africa. This is crazy. There are now reports coming out saying that hotel staff had to separate her and her fiance, John McCann, because they got into a fight, a verbal argument, and they literally had to intervene and put them in separate bedrooms, and then she mysteriously unalived herself. Who is believing this now? As new stuff is coming out about this, it is starting to look more and more like foul play on John McCann's behalf. Allegedly. Gotta throw those ledges out on the allegedly. What do you guys think about this? Do you think she unalived herself? They said that she did it by hanging herself with clothes that were tied together. This just seems incredibly sus. Her family is not believing it. We are sending thoughts and prayers out to her family, of course. What do you guys think? I will keep you updated as more comes in. Secret Service Sam out. Samson for president of the world. Secret Service.
Well, me personally, I think John did it. I'm gonna be honest with you. I think John did it. Why? Well, what black woman you know that's hung themselves with clothes? Especially after they done got their knight in shining armor. I don't know any. But I'll let y'all decide.